Mm, So, I might be super late, but I will make up for it. I'll just stay longer. So, what am I gonna draw? Let's see. So, it's actually been a little while since I've been drawing. I've been occupied with a few other things. Hmm. Shit, my pen's not working. Let's see. Oh. I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna see what happens. I'm just gonna fool around a little bit. That's what I did last time. Mm, okay. Jesus. Is that like a billion dropped frames? Oh shit. I have to like restart the stream. Because it's like god awful. Jesus, no. Let's see. I need to watch it. Yeah, that looks. Oh, I need to lower the bit rate. That looks awful. Encoding. Max bit rate? I don't know. 1,000. Apply. Okay. Is that a little bit better? Let's see. Let's see if. I'll just wait for this to come up on stream so I can watch it back. See how the marks go down. God damn. That looks awful. How do I fix this? So right now I'm just trying to come up with some kind of costume ideas. Uh, and I say costume purposefully, like I want something kind of dramatic looking, but these kind of shapes are a little bit derivative. Uh, but I mean, that's where I guess that's where brainstorming comes, right? You first have to have something a bit derivative, then you can start to make up your own shapes. I kind of like the idea of this kind of large jacket. This kind of shell that they might wear. Hmm, what else? What else? What else? Oh, what would the person look like under? I've drawn everything too big. So I need to shrink everything. Selection tool. Grab everything. Select. Float. Resize it. Alright. Then anchor. Back to paintbrush. Okay. few little ideas. But what's going to be underneath it? Um, something kind of utilitarian. If this is if this is kind of like weird and futury. Weird and futury. What does weird and futury look like? Looks like a mushroom. Something like this maybe. Has has pockets. Maybe a lot of pockets. I feel like futury things tend to have a lot of features, but maybe look simple. They have like a very simple kind of design in a way. Uh, so this is kind of like a t-shirt, but it's kind of like a baseball tee, I guess. But like with this, actually, what does a baseball t-shirt look like? So I don't just copy it straight up. T-shirt. Yeah, so it's kind of baseball tee like, but there's just a little bit extra in the middle, where it's just this kind of like very definite curve. That kind of just goes across the chest. And this can just be like subtle lines across the body that are so this is smaller, bigger, and then biggest pockets because you need the I don't know. I don't know why. The, I don't know why the bottom hem is rounded like a tunic or something or like a dress shirt. I don't think this makes sense. And then what? Just like fucking pants. Some motherfucking pants.
Well, I think they're not going to be straight leg. I think they're going to be tapered pants. Maybe. Maybe some drop crotch. Do you want some drop crotch pants? Some tapered drop crotch pants with what? Large combat boots? Clunky boots? No. I don't think that makes sense to have clunky boots. Everything's kind of like weird and streamlined. I think it would be a mistake to have something like that. I think just something really, really plain on the bottom. Really plain shoes. Then, I don't know. Is this what's under the suit? Maybe. Maybe I need to iterate this again. Rounded. Maybe not so many lines on the front. I'm gonna do like these pants. Low drop crotch pants. It's a different silhouette. I mean it's kind of trendy right now. It's a different silhouette. Just like just from fucking straight leg pants. It's hard to do futuristic well. You know, it's hard to do it that looks semi plausible, uh that looks cool, looks fashionable. It's hard to do that. And then also something that'll last the test of time. I remember reading a thing about the design of Star Trek uniforms. Um, that the way they designed the Star Trek uniforms was they wanted to try to make it like cool and funky or whatever, but they knew that whenever people kind of imagine the future and stuff, it always gets dated really quickly, right? Because uh, as much as like the current, popular fashion can look really dated for a time period, right? So I don't know, 70s, 60s. Those are only 10 years, you know? 1970s, 18. Why did I go 1880s? Like 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. Like, they're only 10 years. Like, if you think about it, 10 years isn't that long, but the fashion styles are significantly, different. So, um, as much as you're trying to design something that you think will be popular in the future, maybe, or you're trying to design something that looks futuristic, um, your what's gonna look good to you is going to be very related to what is fashionable at the time that you're drawing it, right? So if I'm drawing something 2016 and I'm trying to predict in the future what's going to look what's going to be the popular what's going to be the popular clothing style. Is it going to be baggy? Is it going to be grungy? Is it going to be very like high-tech fabrics? So for me trying to predict not only like what things are made out of, but the styling of it. Say like 2040, that's so far away, and style changes so fast, and so I'm kind of rambling because I'm a rambler, but my my projection of what I think will look good in 2040 is directly related to what I think looks good now, right? So you're a product of your environment and of things that are happening to you. So um, so yeah, I'm gonna try to push shapes and push concepts and push ideas, but I mean it's only gonna go as far as my fashion sensibilities that I have right now that are colored by current fashion. Uh, and not to say that I'm only going to like if crop tops were popular right now, I'm only going to draw crop tops, but maybe it'll have like the same but opposite effect, right? Oh, what's really popular right now? Crop tops. So then I'm going to draw the opposite of what crop tops are, right? Because I'm bored of seeing crop tops, so I'm going to draw fucking super long shirts that are like this, you know? Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. Is this cool? Are crop? Is this proof that crop tops are really popular right now? Have I just proven crop tops are the best? The answer's yes. This is kind of cool. I'm trying to give this a little bit of structure, so that's not just a loose, kind of flimsy fabric all over. That maybe there's a little bit of like there's a backing to the collar around the neck. Maybe this is separate. The black thing is separate. Separate. I don't know. Give these pants some racing stripes. I don't know, man. Yeah. So my point was about the clothes was what I think I'm gonna what I think is gonna be fashionable in the future is colored by what I think is fashionable now, what I see now. So one thing to kind of think about is try to keep your designs kind of simple. And that's what I was talking about with the Star Trek. Like they kept their things really simple because they they didn't want to have to redesign the uniform every year or something, right? Just to keep up with the times. So, I mean, the Star Trek uniform has kind of aged nicely. It's a very simple design. Like it's just like it's this black part on top. And it's pretty much what I'm copying right here. But, you know, it's like black up here and then it's long sleeves and the bottom part is whatever color your ranking is. So they kept it really simple because I don't know, if they just started having some like wacky doodle designs, you know, it would get old real quick. It would get old and very dated. So like if they had a t-shirt and everyone had like this kind of like weird design like this all over it, it would just get old really fast. So try not to over design your things. But I think what's really nice looking is if you want to add detail without making it look busy or or overworked. If you don't want to make it look overworked, I think adding adding details, but like not contrasting details. So what I mean is, so if this part of the shirt is all white, you should add textural detail and not defined detail. So that's like the difference between, a smooth piece of granite, like white granite, and then also another rectangle of granite, but I don't know, maybe it's made up of many pieces of granite. So it's still all white, like bits of granite, but it's all just like little bits and little kind of like it's a little mosaic of pieces of granite. So when you look closer, there is still like detail and kind of visual interest instead of just being very, very plain. And then this can give it, some more interest and more detail to your design. Uh, yeah, because you want to get like I don't know. I'm not a fashion designer, but I would assume you'd want to get the silhouette and the shape and the fit right, and then proceed from there. Like proceed from there, like design wise. If you're gonna put like I don't know a pattern or something weird. This looks kind of cool. Well, it looks kind of cool, but we don't know for sure. We need to put a person in it to see if it looks nuts. So we're to put a person in here. It's a very wide collar. Oh, these lines are weird that I drew. Oh, maybe maybe this whole black thing is very structured, and then what's underneath is a little bit more flexible. So maybe the arms are more inside towards the body. And the crotch is here, but it's a drop crotch design. And then maybe there aren't sleeves. Like this part's more structured. Like it's not so sleevey. It's kind of like attached to the body. So if I guess were to imagine it, like if we were looking at it from the bottom, this is kind of like the torso in the middle, and here are the sleeves, and it's just kind of like very rigid. Well, not rigid. Maybe it's slightly rigid because this is leather, leather slash rubber. I don't know. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. It's not super removed from everything I know. Uh, I think I think it's kind of simple. It's kind of simple, but not overly simple. I don't know. Um, I mean, I could add a few details here, maybe. But now that just it just kind of looks Middle Easterny, looks Middle Easterny and a little bit derivative. But it's so hard to be completely original. You'd have to draw something like obscenely, obscenely different, and that's so difficult. I don't know. I kind of just want to echo this up here. It's kind of cool. It's not too different. And then if this is what kind of like their overcoats are. So like so for me this is kind of future and then future slash. So kind of like futury, but it's also like an environmental protection. Like this will protect them from the environment. So uh, this is what people kind of look like from the side. Should there be a visor like this? It kind of just looks like a hand puppet, sort of. No, not that. No, no, I guess it's just like that. Maybe this like closes up somehow. Like so open it looks like this. And closed it looks this, I mean it's gonna be kind of the same shape, but it's kind of like this comes towards the middle and this comes towards the middle. So it'll be kind of more like this. It'll be a closed kind of diamond shape. But then how does he see? Is there like a slit? I don't know. Or would it just like go like this? Maybe it's just no covering. Maybe it's just big collar. Oh yeah, it's torture watching them. Sorry, I'm watching a TV show at the same time, and everyone in it's an idiot because I love it. God. No. So, you know, I kind of fell into a designing trap, you know. Uh, when when you don't know how to draw something new, when you are unable when you are unable to come up with an original idea, you know what you do? You just kind of pillage other cultures and you hope, you kind of hope your like whatever culture you're from doesn't notice that you just like borrowed hardcore from a different culture or maybe a different culture or like a different time period. So, that's why like steampunk is kind of very like it can look futuristic in like a weird old-timey way, right? Steampunk is kind of what westerny. westerny, Victorian-y kind of shit. Saloon. Uh, so this, I don't know, this looks very, I think to me, it looks very Middle Eastern or very, like there are design elements that are very Middle Eastern. I think kind of this thing, this kind of like weird faux collar that doesn't exist is kind of Middle Eastern, and the kind of very long tunicky bottom bit is a little bit Middle Eastern. Definitely drop crotch is Middle Eastern. It's something that's in I forget what country. It's some kind of Asian, like South Asian country where their military they wear pants that have drop crotch. So this is all very kind of like Middle Eastern, South Asian-y stuff, maybe slightly Egyptian-y kind of feeling to it. And then for someone from North America, it looks kind of fresh, it looks kind of new because, we're used to, Western style of clothing, right? So, I don't know, like, just like a fucking t-shirt or whatever. So, like, when your frame of reference is just kind of like a basic t-shirt, this looks a lot more, you know, a lot more designed, like there's a lot more going on. So I don't know, what's typical contemporary menswear, right? So it's like t-shirt, fucking long sleeves. This looks so ugly, but like long sleeve t-shirt or shirts. What, V-neck, crew neck, maybe a kind of a scoop boat neck. What else? Yeah, fucking. Holy, I'm super not a fashion person, designer. You got, you got your dress shirts, button down. What you got? I don't know, put a cardigan over top. I think cardigans are out, right? I haven't seen a cardigan in years. What else? I don't know. Fucking menswear is kind of boring. Well, you got blazers. Fuck, what do blazers look like? Come on, memory. It's kind of like this. There's a lapel, right? Like there's a breast. There's like a thing there that kind of joins with the thing that goes around your neck. So there's this kind of lapel. It comes down, button. Oops. Like lower. That's so ugly. Uh, what else? So there's kind of like curling sweaters. A lot of construction-y activewear. Plaid. Fucking plaids, polo shirts. What else? Activewear. Hoodies, I guess. I don't know. Clothes clothes for men don't really get too wild. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for women's clothes that they don't get too wild. But maybe. I don't know. South Asian slash Middle East. I kind of want the pants to have stuff going on. Like maybe the pants are like really, is it like a drop crotch, but like made out of rubber or like leather? Would that be cool looking? Oops, that's not black. Or is that a happy mistake? I hate that term. I hate the term happy mistakes. I hate that. I don't know. I don't like that kind of weird philosophy. There's this weird, I mean, I understand people, they want people to not be scared of making mistakes, right? Because having like the fear of failure, the consequence of having a fear of failure is stagnation of inaction. If you're always scared about failing, you are never going to be brave enough to try, right? And to try means that there's a chance of failure, right? So it's not like, I don't know, people are like, oh, you should fail often. You need to fail. You only learn from mistakes. You need to make mistakes to learn. You don't, that's, that's some weird axiomatic bullshit that you need to make mistakes to um, learn. It's thinking of it ass backwards, that you need to make mistakes to learn. No, you need to learn. And to learn, mistakes are things that may happen along the way of learning, you know. So, I don't know. I don't like that shit when they're like, "Oh, you need to make mistakes to learn." No. I don't like I get the sentiment of kind of cute sayings like that, but it's just I hate those things because they're not meant like sayings or axioms are not meant to be interpreted literally, but they're meant to communicate a kind of central idea, and that's what like mm, the simplest answer is usually the correct one. And then some people would like, oh no, everything has to have a simple answer. I don't know, like aren't things some things are inherently complicated. Like, is it usually better to try to not overcomplicate things? Meaning, simpler things have fewer places to screw up? Is that kind of the main idea that they're like trying to get at? So, you know, the fuck, what was I talking about? I don't know. Axioms, what did I say? Fuck, I don't know. Oh, mistakes. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to you don't need to make mistakes. You need to try and not be afraid of making mistakes. That's the real message, right? But it's been like I don't know, people are just like, "Oh, you need like making mistakes is the only way to learn." Like that's such a weird way to frame it. It's like, "No, the only way to learn is to try." That makes more sense. to learn something, you must try to learn it. And trying to learn something means you're probably going to make a few mistakes, you know? So, yeah, huh, I think this is okay. Maybe if I kind of put a few on dots, like maybe if it's like studded sort of up here. So this is where I said try not to put like try to add texture to your designs if you don't want to like if you want to keep it simple color wise, you should try to add texture. Add texture, but not because then it's very different for me to kind of like make the texture of this like a little studded versus I don't know, like oh everyone's pants has fucking little wings on it. Oh shit, maybe everybody's pants should have wings on it. That'd be sick. No, it wouldn't. There were these Adidas shoes that were really sick. I wanted to buy them, but then I fucking forgot, and then they all sold out. It was like these limited edition Adidas, and it was like a play on. It was a play on. Fuck, I don't know how to draw fucking shoes. It was a play on Hermes, Mercury. Hermes and Mercury are the same god. Holy, this is fucking ugly. I'm just drawing a dick. So it looked like it kind of looked like, just a normal shoe. Mm, no, what do shoes look like? I know even sneakers kind of have a heel. And then fucking holy fucking shit. That feel when that feel when you think you know what objects look like and then you fucking don't actually remember what objects look like. Okay, I'm just gonna grab my shoe and draw my shoe. Oh, right. Yeah. So like the sole is kind of like a wedge. Kind of like a wedge. The front is like a flat thing that comes into a ramp. And then laces. Anyways, the Adidas shoes, what they had on the side were fucking wings. So like Hermes and I think Mercury, I think it's the Mercury is the Romanized version of that god. Mercury, Hermes, the messenger of the gods or whatever. He had shoes with wings on it. That's why he could travel or run so fast or something, and it was kind of like that idea. Like those were sick. And then when I went to go buy them, they were fucking sold out. Like the size. I was like, oh, rip, rip everything. All right, that was kind of fun. Doing a little design challenge for myself. That was kind of interesting. Uh, yeah, doing stuff like this is interesting, fun. Helps you helps you stretch yourself. You know. helps you stretch yourself, and it helps you expand your visual library. That's something said often. It's just like you just need to expand your visual library, meaning your mental, catalog of what things can look like. And that's so important if you want to be, an artist that doesn't always need references, an artist that can be um, creative in a design perspective. It's because when you have visual, uh, a large visual library, like a visual vocabulary, like you've seen a lot of kinds of art, or you've seen a lot of kinds of architecture, Gothic, modern, like whatever, fucking German, something or other fucking shit. You've seen like ancient Asian architecture, ancient, you know, Egyptian or African or South American, like, you've seen different kinds of architecture, Italian. There's a lot of there's a lot of interesting architecture in and around Europe. Um, Russian stuff. You know, when you've seen a lot, then you can remix different ideas and kind of come up, with your own stuff. So you're like, oh, maybe I kind of like the dome shape of kind of Russian buildings, like the weird, like kind of peach, like upside down peach thing on top of those buildings, but I like it in a spire or something, or blah blah blah. You remix it with arches, maybe like that, and mixing it with a lot of arches, like it's very reminiscent of Roman stuff with all the arches. Or you want like a lot of pillars, or you don't want a lot of pillars. You want ziggurat, pyramidy kind of shit. So it helps you expand your possibilities. It's kind of like the phrase thinking outside of the box, right? Because the original brain teaser was you had this grid of 3 by 3 dots, and then the question was, how do you, with 3 lines, how do you with 3 lines draw through? I think the question was draw through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think that was the brain teaser. Use 3 lines to draw through to draw to draw through 7 dots. So people do this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, but I think they had to be connected. But anyways, so people would just like continuously do stuff like this, and then they wouldn't get it, wouldn't get it, wouldn't get it. And then I think the answer is this. One, two, three, four, five, six. Fucking I forget. It's something like that. But the idea is people saw the box shape and they were so stuck about thinking about inside this box, like how to do it. But the answer laid outside of the box, right? You had to expand outside of the box. Okay, I need to go look that up. Oh, okay. It was 4 lines. What it originally was 4 lines. 4 lines, and you had to connect all the dots. So the answer was, and without lifting your pen up. So it would down here. Oops. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 to connect all the dots. So you had to think outside of the box. All right. I think that's my time up. So, moral of the story. Stay in school. Moral of the story, stay in school. No, moral of the story. Just don't believe people's shit all the time. Don't listen. Actively question and consider everything you hear. So when people try to give you a flippant, glib, simplistic answer to complicated issues, question them, right? So when people fucking tell you, you need to make mistakes to learn, or making mistakes is the best way to learn. You need to, like actively question people's like, especially when it's like this kind of like common sense wisdom bullshit. It's like, oh, is it though? Is it really though? You know. And also, don't don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn about your ideas, you know. If you are present like approach every idea with curiosity and skepticism and a critical eye, but when you are it's fine to hold an incorrect position, you know? Like you thought maybe you thought black people are stupid or something, or Asian people suck for whatever reason, right? It's not so terrible that you held a kind of like an quote unquote incorrect or like kind of shitty opinion. It's not that bad that you at some point have held an incorrect position or opinion. But what sucks is when presented with new information and new evidence and new perspectives, you did not consider them and you did not change your position when provided all the information where you should have, changed your position. You know, oh, I think all black people can't swim or something stupid. And then you go, well, here's some black people who are good at swimming. I've shown you a video. It is true. And then you just realize you need to stop being racist. And then everything's okay. You know? You know what I mean? It's all just to not be racist. Even though it feels so good. You know, because that's interesting. Being racist does feel good. I don't think people I don't think people talk about racism that way, you know. But being to be a person who holds racist beliefs, I think that's really comforting, to be racist and to think about things in a racist way. I think it's probably comforting. Um, I think it's probably comforting because uh, it makes everything so simple, you know. It makes it makes things really simple, you know. Oh, black people are like this. Asian people are like this. White people are like this. Russian people are like this. So I think so. It's very comforting when everything's so simple. Like, oh yeah, all those Puerto Ricans, they're always like this. So that was really comforting to have everything to feel as if you understand the world so easily, and it's a lot less consideration, right? I think it takes a lot less space in your brain to just like hold like racist ideas instead of like individually fully considering each person you meet. Like you just meet every Puerto Rican, you're like, oh, you must be dumb or something like that, or you must be good at singing. It's probably a lot easier to just think, oh yeah, all Puerto Ricans are good at singing, instead of having to actually consider people and evaluate them, and, treat people with respect, like that shit. That should take so much work. Fucking treating people with respect. The But yeah. I think that's my time up. I need to I need to do some other things. All right. That was fun. That was fun. You got to understand me in ways you shouldn't have, and I drew something that's kind of weird. So yeah, I drew a kind of shitty clothing design. And then this will be something that I lock away in my memory. And, later on, when maybe something calls for something like this, something futury, something a little bit slightly different from the usual whatnot, you know, maybe this will come to mind, and I'll be ready for it. I won't waste so much time trying to think of something new, because I've just like messed around a lot and thought of something new on my own time. All right, end of stream.